chat now. All right, and as Nikki said, my name is Melanie Wells. I'm the Community Wellness Coordinator at WellSpan Good Samaritan Hospital. Prior to that, I was a health and phys ed teacher at our local high school, and I have been teaching fitness and yoga on the side for the past 11 years. So just so you know, that's kind of where we're going today. You all signed up. I won't take up too much of your time as far as educational information, but it is important to share some fun facts just so you can be empowered to make healthier choices in your everyday life. So knowing that heart disease is the leading cause of death in the United States, approximately 650,000 people in the United States die every year, from heart disease, which is about 1 in 4 deaths. And it costs the US more than $360 billion each year in healthcare services and lost productivity from doctor's visits and death. Some of the risk factors you may already know. You can go next, Nikki. Risk factors for heart disease include high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, overweight, sedentary lifestyle, and chronic stress. So obviously, the more of these you have, the more at risk you are for heart disease. And there is one thing that all of these things have in common, which is most, not necessarily all of them, but most of them are can be prevented by living an active, healthy lifestyle. So although some of them are definitely impacted by genetics, there is the opportunity to, inform your doctor and allow them to help medicate you. But in the event those are not coming from genetics, you have the ability to offset that through an active, healthy lifestyle. So that being said, moving more as much as you can throughout the day, even if you exercise regularly, 30 minutes or more per day. If you're sitting for an extended period of time, 2 or more hours at a time, you're greatly increasing your risk for some of these other risk factors as well. So tonight, as you see on that slide at the bottom, we're talking about chronic stress. And unfortunately, chronic stress leads to a lot of these risk factors. So learning how to manage your stress levels to help offset some of these risk factors. All right, go ahead and next for me. Thank you. So stress in your heart, knowing that stress is a natural part of your life and can be both good and bad for your overall health. What I'd like you to do for just a quick moment is close your eyes, and I want you to think of something that causes a physiological response in your body, something that causes you stress. And I want you to think of something on the positive side. Maybe it's getting ready for an athletic event. Maybe you're in some type of competition. It could be a weight loss competition. It could be going out on a first date, anything that may cause that physiological response in your body. Do you love roller coasters? I used to love roller coasters. I don't love them quite so much, but I think of what happens in my own body when I get ready to go up that large hill and the roller coaster is making that click, click, click sound until you get to the top, and what I'm experiencing in my body. So most of you are probably thinking, first thing first is that you experience that increased heart rate and maybe even shallow breathing, so breathing through the chest. You might experience those butterflies in your stomach, sweaty palms, and then some of the other things that you may not think about but are happening are dilated pupils, decreased in digestion, and that's so the blood flow is going to your extremities, thinking of fight or flight, or even freeze in that situation of a physiological stress response. So some of those examples I just talked about were eustress, which can be good for your body. Eustress is increasing all of those responses, may cause all those responses. And then distress, being the bad stress in your body, is causing the same similar response. However, it usually affects the way that you think, feel, or act, and can make it hard to cope with everyday tasks and responsibilities. Examples of distress may include things such as divorce, maybe a medical diagnosis, or the loss of a loved one, and more commonly in the last few years, even the effects of COVID may be impacting your job or what have you. So that being said, we know that stress is an everyday part of our lives. We may not have the ability to avoid it, but we do have the ability to better manage it and how our body reacts to that prolonged stress. So it becomes that health concern when it's prolonged for extended periods of time, which can cause inflammation in your body. It can also suppress your immune system, upset your digestive system, and increase the risk factors for heart attack and stroke, as well as speed up your aging process. Chronic stress can affect your heart indirectly. When stressed, you tend to sleep poorly, are less likely to exercise, and make healthy food choices, or even better managing your weight. So again, those risk factors that I just talked about can all be increased through chronic stress. So if we have the ability to better manage that stress, we can decrease our risk factors for heart disease and stroke. Next slide. So what are a few things you can do to better manage your stress levels? When you're feeling overwhelmed and anxious, you can follow the following tips, which can help reduce that impact on your body and mind. So setting limits, know when you have too much on your plate. We can't necessarily always get rid of the things on our plate, but know when we can ask for help or even divide some of that responsibility amongst our family, friends, or maybe even coworkers. Another thing, understanding that we need sleep. Right? Sleeping is our body's way of rest and repair. It's allowing us to rejuvenate our body. So try to do relaxing things before bedtime. One of them being yoga, and we're going to do a gentle yoga practice here in a few minutes, but maybe even reading a book or listening to music in addition to that. One thing, if you are having trouble sleeping, make sure you turn off the technology at least 30 minutes before bed, and try to avoid having caffeine after 2 p.m. The next thing is to focus on breathing. Breathing is one of the most accessible ways to help us manage stress. We can do it at any time. And actually, breath control is a big part of yoga as well. So I just want to take a moment and do a quick breathing technique with you, and we will focus on this breath throughout our practice. So if you want to sit up nice and tall, go ahead and just give yourself a shoulder roll here. Bring the shoulders up towards the ears, release them down the back body. Sitting up nice and tall. If you're sitting in a chair, put the feet flat on the floor, maybe come to the front of your chair, hands resting on your thighs, seated in a chair or on the floor. And I want you to go ahead and close your eyes and just notice for a moment the sensation of breath as it passes in and out of the nostrils. And I do this at the beginning of every yoga practice, just to help center our mind and allow us to connect the mind-body experience. And what I want you to do is focus on where the breath is coming from. Are you breathing shallow in the chest? Or are you slowing down long enough to breathe deep into that lower belly? Most of the time, we're only using about 50% of our lung capacity. So if we slow down and breathe deeper, we can increase that capacity, which also benefits our performance and exercise and everyday life. Go ahead and take one hand over your heart, the other over the lower belly. Feeling that rise and fall of the chest and belly. And we're going to go ahead and connect to four complete breaths or square breathing, counting for 4. So on your inhale, go ahead and lift. Feel the chest rise. Feel your lower belly press and expand into that lower palm. Hold for a count of 4. Now draw the belly in towards the spine. Feel the chest lower down for 3, 2, 1. Hold at the bottom. And again, inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause at the top and hold. 3, 4. Exhale, belly to the spine. 2, 3, 4. Hold that. 3, 4. To yourself, silently counting. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. And hold. Go ahead and release your hands back down. Bring some movement into the body. And just take a moment and think, reflect how you feel. Just those few moments of deep breathing, slowing it down, feeling yourself connecting to that breath, feeling that movement of breath through the chest and belly, and feeling that sensation as it passes in and out of the nostrils. We'll come back to that. You'll hear me refer to that as we move on through our practice. But the nice thing with breath, it can be done anywhere. If you're sitting in heavy traffic and you're feeling overwhelmed, slowing down and just taking time, turn off the radio and focus on that breath, do that square breathing. And then the last one, talking to someone, whether it's a friend or professional, you know, you'll be surprised. A lot of times we hold a lot of stuff in, but knowing that we have that outlet, finding that support network, whether that's professionally or personally, that can help alleviate some of that weight load. And also know that we're all experiencing a lot of, not necessarily always the same things, but we all experience some setbacks, highs and lows in our lives, and having that ability to, you know, bounce that off of somebody. And sometimes we put ourselves in a corner. We get so stressed and overwhelmed that it's hard for us to make sense of it. We're too close to the experience. So just rebounding that off of somebody, allowing them to give us a different perspective. Go ahead and next, please. And the other thing, you heard me talk about physical activity, which we're going to do through our yoga experience today. Physical activity helps bump up the production of the brain's feel-good neurotransmitters, also known as endorphins, those feel-good hormones. It's usually when you feel better, when you have that release of those endorphins, you feel better and can cope and or manage your stress better. That being said, I know it becomes very difficult to get motivated to do much of anything when you're depressed or anxious, but it's one of the best things that you can do for yourself. You don't need to set aside a certain amount of time, but you know, dealing with, you know, fitness classes, having different students come in and out, life gets busy, you get stressed out and overwhelmed. And I always say, you know what, the hardest part is just getting up and getting moving. Sometimes it's just getting to the class. And once you're there, you know, you're there, you're committed, and you're still moving. Same thing if you go for a walk, just put on your sneakers, right? If you put on your sneakers and you're not ready to go, you haven't talked yourself into it yet, that's fine, but you're one step closer. And maybe in a few minutes, you said, you know what, I'm gonna real quick head outside for a walk. And then you start walking, and then you realize, you know, that release of endorphins has you starting to feel better, so you keep going. And something else I like to encourage some of my students in fitness classes is to keep a journal, right? So there are plenty of times when I personally don't feel like exercising, whether that's teaching a class or even personally, but I have never gone to a class or exercise and regretted doing that for myself. Personally, I fractured my femur last year. For 3 months, I was laid up, and it was really a tough time. I had to rely on those other things such as sleeping and talking with friends, because physically I couldn't do much. I couldn't have any body weight on my lower half. So that being said, you know, don't get discouraged. Just do your best to take it one step at a time. And again, find a way to help promote healthy lifestyles. All right, that being said, we're going to go ahead and start moving into our yoga practice. What I like to share with my students in yoga is that it is your practice. There is no right or wrong way. There's only safe and unsafe. And I'm going to encourage you to do the safe thing. Because it's an evening practice, we're going to do a gentle calming yoga practice. If you're not familiar with yoga, that's fine. You can sit back and watch and even get creative. Think about how you can modify some of what I do. And then not only that, knowing that breath that, the breath that I talked about that we just did, you know, if we're doing a posture and you're just not feeling it, it doesn't feel good in your body, or you're just not familiar, come back to that 4-count breath. Breathing in for a count of 4, holding for a count of 4. If that count of 4 at the top and the bottom, holding that breath, the inhale and the exhale feels too much, you can just make it a natural transition, just that full inhale and then that full exhale. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to do my best to talk loud and clear. If at any time you're struggling to hear something, you know, let me know, or just go ahead and you can go ahead and stop sharing. Oh, and I also wanted to say, Brandy will be sending out a survey. If you don't mind, when you get that in your email, if you can go ahead and complete that for us, that would be very beneficial. So I'm going to go ahead and move over to my yoga mat. And I apologize before we get started. If you can't hear me, by all means, please let me know. And All right, and if you're not already muted, go ahead and mute just so there's no other distractions and I don't lose my sound, if you don't mind. So we're gonna go ahead and start off lying down. If you fall asleep, I always count that as a benefit for me, right? That means that you were that trusting and comfortable in your practice that you could go ahead and fall asleep. So we're gonna go ahead and lie down on our backs. I have a blanket and a block here, but anytime you feel you wanna use that, by all means, you can prop that blanket under your lower back, under your knees, whatever you need. Go ahead and get comfortable. And this is Shavasana, if you're familiar. So go ahead. If you're open to receive, take your palms to the sky. If you need a little bit more grounding and self-love this evening, go ahead and place your hands on your lower belly. We're going to gently close our eyes. Allow the tongue to rest gently on the back of the two front teeth. Gazing softly beyond the space between the brow. And let's just go ahead and come back to that complete breath. Big inhale for a count of 4. You can hold at the top or just come to that natural transition, which is what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to exhale, allowing that 4 count at the bottom as well. Slowly bringing awareness to the present moment. Feeling the sensation of the earth beneath the back body. Noticing the temperature of the air as you breathe in, feeling the temperature of the air on your skin. And then I want you to do a gentle body scan from the bottom of the feet all the way up to the top of the crown. Taking time, slow down, scan the body, one body part at a time. Pausing anywhere where you might be holding on some tension or discomfort. Slowing down there, using your inhalation to open up, soften that space. And then use your exhalation, release through the soles of the feet. And there's no rush to get anywhere. Take as much time as you need here, holding on to that complete breath. Your breath is your anchor back to the present moment. And if you find you're holding on to any thoughts from the outside world, any to-do list you might have, take a moment and visualize packing those thoughts and attachments into a suitcase. Then close that suitcase and set it outside the door. Giving yourself permission to lighten the load and fully experience the next few minutes together. Once you arrive at the crown of your head, no rush to get there, but set your intention for your practice. Think about why you joined us this evening. Allow that intention to resonate throughout your entire body, using both breath and your intention to guide you. And again, keeping in mind it's your practice, it's yoga practice, not yoga perfect. Every time you roll out the mat is a new opportunity to strengthen that mind-body connection and to learn to let go and be present. Let's stay here for another 2 complete breaths. As I'm guiding you through your practice, if you're on a different breath, if I'm saying inhale and you're on your exhale, that's fine. There's no rush to go anywhere. And let's go ahead and start to bring some movement back into our body. Wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes. On your inhale, take your arms up and over, reach overhead, point the toes. Arch the back, expand through the entire front of the body. Get nice and long here. And then maybe cat stretch side to side, nice and easy, one side and then the other. And then come back to center. Flex the feet, toes to the sky. Bring your hands down at your sides, palms to the floor. Press that lower back down into your mat. Just take a moment, feel the entire back body supported by the earth. And then let's go ahead and inhale, hug your right knee into the chest. Bring it in as close as you can. You can stay here. You can bring some movement into that hip. Whatever feels good for you. Still holding on to that breath. Slowing it down. Inhale, matching your exhale. And then if you like, go ahead and inhale, nose to knee, a little abdominal crunch here. Pull the belly towards the spine, bring the knee closer to the nose. And then activating that core, imagine sliding a piece of paper underneath your back, keep it firmly pressed underneath you. Inhale, extend the leg out long. You're creating a wide V here, arms overhead. Exhale, squeeze it in, hollow that belly, blow out that air. Inhale, expand, lengthen long. We're using that core strength here. If that pulls too much on your back, take your leg higher to the sky. Inhale, get long. Exhale, squeeze it in. Give me 2 more here, connecting movement to breath. Using your inhalation to open up, create space. Exhale, let go of anything not serving you this evening. Last one. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, hug it in. Go ahead and lower head and shoulders down. We're going to plant that right foot on your left thigh. Go ahead and give me a spinal twist over to the left. Take your right arm open to the side. You can extend all the way out, maybe create a W or a half W with that arm, bending at the elbow. It's up to you. Notice if you're resisting here. Notice if there's some tension in your body. As you exhale, twist and release. Let go of any muscular contractions you're holding on to. And then come back to center. Go ahead and take that leg up straight. Hold on to the hamstring. Notice what's happening on your left leg. See if you can lengthen it out. Go ahead and circle the ankle, spread the toes, work within your range of motion. And if you're not lying down, if you're in a chair, you can do this while you're seated. Just one at a time. You're going to have to modify a little bit more. And then reverse that circle. And working within your range of motion. Notice where you are in those hamstrings. If your hamstrings are tight this evening, you might have those knees bent even more, and that's fine. Now go ahead and inhale, press, extend the toes, point the toes towards the sky. Exhale, flex, drive through your heel. Notice what you feel in the back of the leg. Inhale, press, extend. And exhale, drive. One more time. And exhale. Core is your foundation through all of this. We'll hear we talk about it a lot. Arms up and over, belly to the spine. Slow release, extend that right leg across the room, away from those fingertips. Belly to the spine the whole way. Keep pressing that low back down. And just take a moment, reset here. Get long, point the toes, arch the back again, open, expand the front of the body. And then exhale, flex the feet, bring that left knee in. It's the same thing on the left side. Bring some movement into that hip if you'd like. Whatever feels good for you. Again, there's no right or wrong way. Just taking time to slow down, be present, breathe. Yoga is a great way to manage stress. And let's go ahead and inhale, crunch it up, nose to knee. Pull that belly towards the spine, push that piece of paper down into your mat. And let's go ahead and start to lengthen, activate that core, building some heat here, press through the ball of the foot, extend the fingertips long, looking across the room towards the ceiling, lengthen that neck, exhale, squeeze. Inhale, lengthen. Again, if that's pulling too much on your back, you can go ahead and straighten that leg more towards the ceiling. And if it bothers your head and shoulders, keep your head down. Lots of options here. Exhale, squeeze. You have 2 more. Hold on to that complete breath. Using that exhalation, release that residual carbon dioxide. Inhale, drawing that fresh oxygen and energy into your body. And go ahead and lower head and shoulders down. Plant that left foot on the right thigh, bring the knee across the body. Take that right hand to the outer thigh, and then take your left arm out to the side. Taking your gaze with you, notice where you might be holding on here to some discomfort in the body. Notice where you feel yourself resisting. Use the exhalation to soften and release. Nice and easy, 1 breath at a time. And let's come back to center. Hug that knee in again. This time, take that left leg high, hold on to the hamstring, and spread the toes, circle the ankle, work within your range of motion. What's also nice about this practice, some of these are things you can do in bed in the morning before you even wake up your body and hit the floor running. I love to do yoga in the morning. I just feel like I'm walking taller and prouder just by bringing some gentle stretches and movement into my body. And hold it here, see if you can get a little bit more length in that leg. Press and extend, point the toe, reach towards the sky. Exhale, drive through that heel. Feel the sensation in the back of that leg, maybe some sensations in the toes and the ankle. Give me one more. And flex. Once again, arms up and over. Go ahead and take your time, belly to the spine, reach that leg across the room. Keep that back body anchored down. Slow and controlled, come back to neutral. Let yourself fall into the floor. Inhale, lengthen, arch the back, point the toes, extend through those fingertips. And then let's bring our hands down at our sides, palms to the floor. Go ahead and bring your feet flat on the ground, bending your knees. You're gonna press through the four corners of the feet and the back of your arms. We're gonna lift up, going through a dynamic bridge. We'll start gently with just a bridge. So pressing through the back of the hands, the four corners of the feet, keep your knees hip distance. Inhale, lift your hips high. Open up through the hip flexors, the hip crease in the front of the body. Think of drawing your pubic bone towards your nose. Keep lifting up, you're rolling into the upper back and shoulders here, a little bit into the neck. Keep squeezing those inner thighs towards one another. Slow exhale, come back down to center. Level it out, push that low back down, give it a chance to reset. Now we're gonna move dynamically, warming up the body. Inhale, we're gonna take the arms up and over at the same time, press through the four corners. Lifting nice and high, reaching the highest point at the top of the inhale, and then exhale, slowly lowering the hands and the hips at the same time, reaching the floor at the bottom of the exhale. Look down towards the knees, try not to let the knees flare open. Feel those inner thighs engage, build some heat. Lifting tall on the inhale, and then exhale, lowering down. Inhale, lift. Drive through the four corners of the feet. If you want a little bit more on the hamstrings, lift the toes, press only through the heels. Your practice, your choice. Maybe just experiencing different sensations. If you like that stretch through the front of the body, you can stay at the top of the bridge and hold it there. Totally up to you. Inhale, lift it one more time, hold at the top this time. Press through the four corners, lift those hips high, draw the pubic bone towards the nose. Open up, create space all along the front of the body. And then exhale, slowly release down. Go ahead and hug those knees into the chest. Gentle rock and roll side to side, massage that back body. And then we're gonna rock head to toe up one side of the spine and down the other. Nice and easy. And come on up to seated. Good, holding on to your breath, not letting go of that breath throughout your practice. And you might, but just come back to it at any time you start to notice your mind wandering. We're gonna come into tabletop. So looking down, bringing our knees underneath our hips. Look back towards those feet, tuck the feet behind the thighs. And then taking your hands directly underneath the shoulders, stacking the joints. Make sure your index fingers are forward, pinky toes out to the side. Moving through cat-cow. On your inhale, drop the hip bones towards the ceiling, arch the back, lift the tailbone, expand through the front of the body. And then exhale, contract, push down through the palms, the shin, round the upper back, tuck that tailbone under, belly to the spine, chin to the chest. Inhale, nice fluid movement, open up, expand the front of the body. Feel the articulation of the spine, one vertebrae at a time. Exhale, contract and round. You have 3 more connecting to your breath. Nice and easy, no rush getting anywhere. Take time, slow it down. Experience that complete inhale and complete exhale. Try to keep the shoulders away from the ears, ground down through the perimeter of your palm. If you feel some tension building in the wrist, go ahead and claw down through the fingertips. Give me one more. And exhale. We're going to stay here on our wrists for a few, so I want to stretch them out. If you're comfortable with this, this is not the most comfortable posture. If you've never done Juka pose before, you're going to curl your toes under and then push back into your hips. So stacking shoulders over hips, hips over ankles. If that bothers you, you can take a blanket, you can press to the top of the feet instead. But if you have any discomfort with sciatic pain, curling your toes under will help stretch that nerve in the bottom of the feet. So let's go ahead and take the arms out straight, roll your wrists, spread the fingertips, and then reverse it. Nice and easy, lengthening those arms, lengthening the spine. If that becomes uncomfortable in your feet, you can rise up rather than lean forward, lift up a little bit more, put more of that weight into the knees and shins. Inhale, right fingertips to shoulder. Exhale, take them down. Inhale, lift and lower. Other side. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale, stay with it. We're almost out of that. Even if you're feeling a little uncomfortable, that's the great thing about yoga. It's a reminder that life gets uncomfortable. What should you do? Breathe through it and not confuse discomfort with pain. So we're opening, closing, rapid fire. Starburst hands here, up and over. Bring them out to the side and front. Back up and over. Front, side, front. Come forward, gently tap out the tops of the feet. A little massage on the tops of those feet. Nice and easy. Good, we're gonna come into bird dog now. Shifting your weight over onto your right side, anchor down through that entire shin. And then take your left leg behind you. Ground your left hand, inhale, right arm in front. Lift the foot, heel to the sky, pinky toe turn down. No need to lift nice and high, right? Keep your hips level. Flatten your back body, reach out long through the crown. Exhale, drive your knee to your elbow. Nice and easy, hollow that belly. Inhale, lift and lengthen, flex the foot, thumb to the sky. Pinky toe turns down. Exhale, squeeze it in. Take your time, there's no rush to get here. Create that nice strong foundation, widen the fingers. Anchor down through the knee, the shin, the top of the foot. Pull the belly into the spine. Think of cinching up a girdle all around the torso. Pull it all into the midline to help stabilize. And then expand outward from there, creating your own counter tension and counterbalance. Exhale, squeeze. And lengthen. One more. And lengthen. Go ahead and take your right hand to the ground. We're going to do some half circles here. Inhale, lift that butt or that foot higher than the hips. Pinky toe stays turned down. Little crescent moves here, side to side. Strengthening that core, working on that balance, and coming back to breath. Nice and easy. Inhale and exhale. Take one more. And go ahead and bring that knee back underneath the left hip. And wag your dog, just shifting side to side, weight over to the left, look to the right ankle, and then weight over to the right, look to the left ankle. Little oblique crunch, working those love handles. Lower rib, reaching towards the hip bone, flattening the back body. One more. Coming back to center, we're gonna do the same thing on the other side, bird dog. Anchor down through your left shin. Go ahead and take the right leg behind, left arm in front. Thumb to the sky, lift that right leg, flatten your back body. Reaching nice and long. Exhale, squeeze it in. Bringing that knee and the elbow as close together as you can. Activating that core. Exhale, expire that residual carbon dioxide. Inhale, lengthen. Feel your body move with intention throughout space. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, lengthen. Give me two more. Again, just breathing with your breath. No rush to get anywhere. Take your time, stabilize. Pressing evenly through the hand and the shin. Lengthen long, inhale. Go ahead and lower the left hand down. And you're just hitting the back corners of your mat with that semicircle. Pinky toes turned down. Squeeze that glute. Including a little bit of that lower back into this. Nice and easy. Up and over. Good. Back to center. And we're going to take a moment just to reconnect, ground ourselves. Take your knees nice and wide. And you're going to bring your big toes together, taking it down for a child's pose. Walk your fingertips forward. If you need some extra support here, you can take a block or a blanket. Bring your forehead to rest on that. Widen the sit bone, drawing the tailbone to the back edge of your mat. Fingertips and crown of the head to the front. And then slowly releasing the forehead down. Go ahead and take a cleansing breath here. Big inhale through the nose. Not following me, but listening to my instructions. Exhale, side out through the mouth. Big inhale. Exhale, side. Come back to that complete breath. Inhale, matching exhale. And from here, go ahead and walk your hands over to the right side of your mat. Bring the left hand on top of the right. Open up all along the left side body. Stretch it out. Feel the space between the ribs. And come back to center. Take it over to the other side. Left hand to the floor, right hand on top. Open up all along that right side. And come back to center. Go ahead and walk the hands back to meet the hips, sitting up nice and tall. If you want that block or blanket, place it between the ankles, sitting up nice and tall. Shoulders over the hips. Go ahead and take a shoulder roll here or there. Creating space between the shoulders and the ears. Let those shoulders fall down the back body, hands to the thighs. Sitting up nice and tall, extend through the crown of the head. Go ahead and inhale, sweep the arms up and over. Reaching nice and tall, keep that tailbone tucked under. Interlace those fingers, palms to the sky. Stay here and breathe, lifting tall, anchor down through the shins. Exhale, side bend over to your right. Press with those palms. Keep that left sit bone anchored down. Inhale back up to center. Exhale, other side. Gazing underneath that top arm. That space all along that right side. Inhale back to center. Moving a little faster, one breath at a time. Exhale, side bend. Inhale, center. Tailbone stays tucked. Exhale, side bend. And inhale back to center. Go ahead and release your hands behind your back. Interlace those fingers, knuckles to the floor. Open and expand the front of the body. Look to the sky. Draw the shoulder blades towards one another. Feel that openness from one shoulder to the other. Opening up through the sternum and the clavicle, the front of the body. Expanding through the chest. Connect it to your breath. Go ahead and release that forward. One palm in front of the other. Push away. Round the upper back. Chin to the chest. Hollow the belly. Broaden the entire back body here. And then keeping those hands where they are, just bring them up underneath your chest. If you tend to work at the computer, this is a good move for you to get rid of that rounded back, that rounded spine. So you can interlace those fingers or one palm in front of the other, your choice. We're going to do modified cat-cow here. Inhale, open up, lift the chest, look to the sky, draw the shoulder blades back. And then exhale, round, elbows in towards one another, hollow the belly, chin to the chest. Inhale, lift and open. You're stuck in traffic, you're sitting at your computer all day. Connecting that movement and breath. Inhale, lift. And exhale. Give me two more. Inhale, lift. Moving into any space you create. Exhale, lower. Take one more. Inhale. Exhale, contract and round. Back up to seated. And just go ahead and shake that out just a little bit. Some of that blood flowing back into those shoulders. Good. All right, we're going to come back into all fours for just a moment. Flatten that back body. And this is going to be a little bit of a challenge. I want you to think of cinching up the girdle, pull that belly in towards the spine. Curl your toes under your knees or underneath your hips, hands underneath the shoulders. And we're going to lift, we're going to just hover, take those knees about 3 inches off the ground. Think of a tailbone, a straight line from the tailbone all the way out to the crown. Fours nice and tight, feel those thighs start to warm up. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and take it into our first down dog. Straighten your legs, push back into those hips. And you're going to pedal it out. If you have blocks, and you tend to have some issues with low blood pressure, you want to make sure you're elevating your head above your heart. Right, so you can even come onto a chair here and just stretch it out. Anything to get that upper body above the heart. And so we're just pedaling out, looking back towards our toes, shifting our weight back into those hips. Go ahead and inhale, lift the heels high. Exhale, drive the heels towards the ground, push back into those hips, long spine, long legs. Inhale, lift, and lower. Give me one more, inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Take a moment and breathe here. Close your eyes if you're comfortable there, otherwise gazing back towards the toes. Feel the sensations in your own body. Long and tall, strong, grounding through the base of the hands and the feet. Driving that tailbone to the wall behind you. And then let's go ahead and lower to those knees. We're going to come into Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Keep that right foot grounded, top of the foot pressing down. Bring your left knee forward. And then you may even need to give yourself a little bit more space with that back leg if you want to open up a deeper stretch. Curl your toes, lift your knee, and then lower back down. Press through the top of the foot. You can come on up to the thigh. If you're comfortable here, make sure you're not putting all that pressure into your right knee. Press down through the top of the foot in the shin as well. Squaring your shoulders to the front of the mat, making sure that front knee is not going past the toes. If you have enough space here, you can open up, push those hips forward. Feel that nice opening in that hip crease, that hip flexor there. You can stay here, or if you'd like, inhale, open up, create even more space, extend through those fingertips. You can stay here, looking up towards the ceiling, or maybe cactus arm, open up, draw the shoulder blades back. Your choice. Wherever you'd like to go, if you like to bring some movement into it, and inhale, open, exhale, squeeze. As I said in the beginning, there's no right or wrong way. It's your practice to slow down that breath, connecting with the rhythm of your own breath. Inhale, matching your exhale. One more, inhale, take those arms up and over. And then exhale, bring the hands down to your sides. We're going to curl the back toes under, lift for a runner lunge. If you're struggling for space there, come on up to the thigh. Drive through that back heel. Now bring your back heel over the ball of your right foot. We're going to take a little step in, turn your right toes out. Push your hips back. So left hip pushing back, right hips forward, squaring our hips to the front of our mat. Half lift, little micro bend in that front knee. Exhale, forward fold. If you have the space, you can bring your hands towards the floor. Otherwise, go ahead and keep the hand to the thigh above the knee. If you tend to wobble a little bit here, you can take your feet a little bit wider. Think of railroad tracks. Just widen that base. Create a little more stability. And always have a chair accessible for balance and support as well. Breathing into the back of the leg. If you have more space, hinging at the hips. Tuck the chin, reaching out long through the crown. Breathing into the back of the leg. Notice if you're resisting, you might have some tension creeping in the front of that left thigh. Try to exhale, soften and release that quadricep. Bringing your right lower rib towards the inner left thigh. And let's go ahead and lunge again. Step back wide with the right, coming back to that runner lunge, drop it down. And then you can bring that left foot back to meet the right. there's anything that you need to do, just kind of wake up that body, get that blood flowing again on your left side. Shimmy those hips, wag the dog, and we're gonna switch sides. Bring your right foot forward. Again, if you need to adjust, curl the back toes under, give yourself a little bit more space between the knee and the back of that front heel. Come on up to the thigh. Driving those hips forward, opening up through that left hip crease. Lifting up nice and tall, anchoring down, take some of the pressure out of your left kneecap. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Again, your choice, you can stay here or you can move into it. Exhale, cactus arms. Maybe you want to take opposite hand, opposite elbow. Always your choice where you go here. Keep breathing. Reconnect back to that breath. Soften your gaze. Notice if there's any tension creeping up into the face. Tongue resting gently on the back of the two front teeth. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, strong and powerful through that base. Left shin and the right foot. Take one more inhale, lift. Exhale, bring those hands down. Curl your back toes under, come up into that runner lunge. Again, you can immediately come up onto the thigh if you need that space. Going wider into railroad tracks for stability if you need it. Back heel over the ball of the left foot. And then let's go ahead and step that left foot in, turn the toes out ever so slightly. Hands to the thighs if you'd like, soft bend in that front knee, no locking out, no hyperextension. And then hinging at that hip, lower left rib towards the inner right thigh, hands to the floor if you're comfortable there. Tucking the chin, nose to knee, letting that torso get long, draping over the front of that thigh. Breathe into it here. Slow down that respiration. Notice where you are in space. And then let's go ahead and lunge. Come back into that runner lunge. And then plant that foot back on the floor. Go ahead and step back with the right. Hands underneath those shoulders. We're going right into our downward facing dog. Curl the toes, push back wide into those sit bones. Pedal it out, shimmy the hips, bend the knees, whatever feels good for you. Keeping that blood flowing into that lower body. Eventually making your way to stillness, whatever that looks like. And you can always come back to that child's pose if you need. You find your mind is wandering and you've lost control over that breath. Come back to a little bit more grounding base, your choice. Stay here for 2 more breaths wherever you are. And let's go ahead and walk our hands back to meet our feet. Feet are hip distance, press to the 4 corners of the feet. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, forward fold. Let yourself hang over the front of those thighs. Torso is heavy. And go ahead and shake your head side to side. Create space between the ears and the shoulders. Working within your own range of motion here. And then nod it yes, full range. Nice and easy. Supported by those legs. Hinging at that lower back. Take opposite hand, opposite elbow. Sway at those hips like a pendulum. The arms aren't moving, you're moving from the waist, side to side. Getting even heavier through the torso, feeling the stretch in the back of the legs. Feeling the release through that lumbar spine. Nice and easy. And release those hands down. Very slowly, we're going to grow up tall. Press through the 4 corners, soften the knees. Slowly roll it up. Externally rotate those thighs. Tuck the tailbone, pubic bone rising. Shoulder roll at the top, releasing down. You're coming into Tadasana, mountain pose. Standing up nice and tall. Reaching up through the crown of the head. Rooted down through the 4 corners of the feet. Inhale, sweep the arms tall. Sun salute here. Grab your left wrist, side bend over to your right. Looking underneath the left arm. As you side bend, anchor down even more through that left foot. Pressing down. Inhale to center. Exhale, other side, grab that right wrist, a little tug on that wrist as you side bend, create space all along the rib cage. Anchor through the right foot. And back up to center. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. And releasing those hands down at your sides, Tadasana, mountain pose. Root through the four corners. Feel free to close your eyes here, shoulder roll. Feeling that sensation of the earth underneath those feet. Bring your hand to your heart, the other to the lower belly. Feeling that rise and fall with each breath. We're going to do a balance challenge here, coming into tree pose. Go ahead and bring your awareness over into the left side. Root through the four corners of that left foot, spread the toes. And you're going to turn your right knee out to the side. Set a kickstand into that ankle. So pressing through the ball, the right foot, that right heel pressing into the left ankle. You might stay here. You might choose to bring that foot up onto the inner thigh or calf. It's not directly on that kneecap. Or you can stay down at that kickstand. Inhale, sweep the arms tall. The idea here is to bring awareness into that strong base, that strong foundation. Think of the foot growing roots into the earth. Think of pulling everything into the midline, cinching up that girdle, then expanding outward. Exhale, open up cactus arms, draw the shoulder blades towards one another, expand the front of the body, looking at something not moving, soften that gaze, relax that smile. Inhale, take the arms high to the sky. And then bring those hands to the hips, bring your knee forward, right knee comes forward, extend that leg, lift and lower. Nice and easy, pedal it out. We're gonna do the same thing over on the other side. Shift your weight over onto the right, maybe taking your gaze to the floor, closing the eyes, just feeling that sensation as we set our foundation. Pressing down through the four corners, lift through the arch, rooting down to rise up. And then go ahead and start to shift over onto the right, set up your kickstand. When you're ready, taking that left foot up if you're ready for it, or keeping it down in that kickstand. Inhale, the arms rise. Maybe something different with your arms here, you can keep them high. Cactus arms, maybe opposite hand, opposite elbow. Whatever is comfortable for you. Exploring what's available this evening. Looking at something not moving. Strong base, activate that core, pull that pelvic floor up and in. Draw the navel towards the spine. Shoulders release down. Release those hands, inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to the hips. Knee comes forward. Extend that leg out. Lift and lower. We're going to slow it down, take a little mini vinyasa here. Inhale, coming to the front of your mat, sweep the arms high. Exaggerate that bent knee, taking care of the hamstrings in the low back. Forward fold, hands through heart center. Release the hands down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step it back, high plank. As you step back, you can go right into knees on the floor for a modified plank if you like. It's up to you. Or lift those knees, only going down through the feet and the hands. Exhale, we're going to slowly lower, hug the rib cage in. Lower down with control. Come all the way to the ground. Bring your forearms to the floor. Press through the tops of the feet. Inhale, lift up. Use that low back, rise up. Look about 2 feet in front of you. Shoulder blades pull back and down. Exhale, lower down. Nice fluid movement. Your breath. Inhale, lift. Keep the legs anchored into the floor, feet anchored into the floor. And exhale, lower. 3 more here. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Give me 2 more. And last one. Be comfortable here, hands underneath the shoulders. You can stay with that cobra, or you can lift all the way up into an up dog. Keep the knees anchored down. Press through those palms. Clawing down through the fingertips, taking some of that pressure out of the wrist. Open the front of the body. Let those hips drop towards the floor. And then your choice, it's either a down dog or you can take it back to a child. Knees wide, big toes touch. Walk the fingertips forward. Allow the forehead to come to rest if it will. You can use a block or a blanket if you'd like. Take a cleansing breath or two. Big inhale through the nose. Exhale, open mouth, sigh. Take it again, inhale. And exhale. If you're in your downward facing dog, come down to child's pose. Lengthen the spine, lengthen the torso. Go ahead and rise up. Bring that right knee between the hands. Swing your left leg around. And we're going to take it back down to Shavasana. If you want to put some layers back on, if you have socks, or here's where I suggest the blanket. We're going to slowly resist. Try to use that core strength hands if you need them. Slowly lower all the way down. Get comfortable here. If you need more grounding, a little more self-love, hands to the lower belly, let those feet flop open. We're going to take 3 deep cleansing breaths, letting go of any control over our breath. Big inhale. Exhale, imagine a feather right above your face. Blow that feather away, open mouth, sigh. Inhale, fill the lungs. Exhale, sigh. Take one more here. Inhale. Exhale, sigh. Keeping that gaze just beyond the third eye, the space between the brow. Eyes are gently closed, resting in the sockets. Allow the tongue to fall to the bottom of the mouth now. No control, resting now in the back of the 2 front teeth. The bottom back 2 front teeth. Keeping your gaze nice and soft here, soften that smile. And we're going to scan the body just like we started, but this time we're going to start scanning from the top of the head all the way down into the toes. Notice where you might still be holding on to some tension or discomfort. Pause when you get to that place of tension. Stay there for a breath or 2. Soften that space. Maybe notice an energy attached to that feeling. As you exhale, slowly release, sending that discomfort out through the soles of the feet and into the earth beneath you. It's as if you've turned on a spigot at the top of the head. As you're slowly turning on that warm, gentle flow of water or healing energy. Allow it to flow from the crown down into any place of discomfort. Allow it to wash any negative or stale energy out of the body, flowing from the heels into the earth beneath you. Ultimately filling up the entire body with space between the cells, forcing out any negative energy or discomfort, letting go of anything not serving you this evening. Nice and easy, coming back to that resting heart rate, finding that natural rhythm of breath. If your mind starts to wander, come back to that sensation of breath as it passes in and out of the nostrils. Bring awareness to the heart center. Notice the energy and sensation around the heart. Visualize that healing light and energy coming into the heart center with each inhale. With each exhale, expanding that energy and light outward. As we continue to breathe here, silently saying to yourself on your inhale, I am peaceful. On your exhale, I am loved. Inhale, I am peaceful. Exhale, I am loved. Silently repeating that to yourself with each breath. With your eyes still closed, slowly bring some movement back into your body. If you're on the floor, lying on your side, go ahead and roll over to the right side. If you're seated, just bring some gentle movement into your body. And then take a moment and pause for gratitude this evening. Think of one thing you have to be grateful for. Allow that gratitude to resonate within. Now on your exhale, send that gratitude into the universe. Slowly rising to Sukhasana, sitting up nice and tall wherever you might be. Getting comfortable here, but sitting tall, sitting proud, shoulders over the hips. Inhale, sweep the arms up and over. Exhale, bringing the hands to heart center. The light within me honors and recognizes the light within each and every one of you. Namaste. Thank you all very much. Have a wonderful evening. I'll stay on for any questions. I hope you enjoyed, and hopefully you feel a little less stressed than maybe you started your evening with. Thank you so much for your participation. Have a wonderful evening. You're very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
That was awesome. Thank you, Melanie.
You are wonderful. You are most welcome. I should have invited people to just cover up and take a nap, go right to sleep.
I know, that was very, very relaxing.
Wonderful.
And I think you can stop recording if you want.
Okay. Thanks for the reminder.